Hi, beautiful people. So I guess we have to get into some things today. So with the Real Housewives of Potomac starting again back on Sunday, season 7 is starting on October 9th. We have some things going on in the media, I guess, to drum up awareness and to make sure we have people tuning in, but it's real things that's happening in people's lives. So one of the first things that happened, we had Candiace go on she had an interview or a chat, I should say, with Carlos King on his podcast, Reality with the King. And she let us, she gave us a lot of details without giving details about things that happened. So she gave us a lot of information regarding what's been going on with her and, just what's going on. So first thing she mentioned that they had Bravo have what's called the Real Ultimate Girls Trip, where they would pick 2 people from one of the franchises and the 2 from each of the franchises, and then they'll take a trip together with other ladies from other reality shows. So this Ultimate Girls Trip, we had people from Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Beverly Hills, I believe, and so on and so forth. I even think we had somebody from Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. And the trip was in Thailand. So they usually bring the ladies that are best friends on the show to the trip. But in this trip, Candiace said she was surprised because she thought it would have been Karen and Gizelle going on the trip, but no, they picked her, Candiace, and Gizelle to go on the trip together. And we all know that Gizelle and Candiace, they do clash at times. So she was telling us that she had a little bit of problem with Gizelle on the girls trip, and then Carlos asked her, so besides Gizelle, who else did you have any kind of altercation with, or just any argument? And she took a long time to answer, but she finally said that she had a problem with Portia. So of course the blogs took that and talking about, Candiace had an all-out brawl with Portia Simpson for Real Housewives of Atlanta. And of course other people in the comments were like, no, you're just trying to, that's clickbait. We all know that she just had an argument, because Carlos did ask her, did you have a, dragged down, dropped out, or whatever you call it, fight? And she was like, no, we just has a little bit of disagreement, but we're still waiting for that Ultimate Girls Trip to air. So we'll just have to tune in to actually see what happened with her and Portia. Another thing that Carlos asked her about, if you've been seeing the previews for Real Housewives of Potomac, you would see that Gizelle is insinuating that Candiace's husband Chris has been, inappropriate to her and wants her. So Candiace, Carlos asked her, what do you have to say regarding that? Then she reminded us back in season, I believe it was in season 5 or season 6, when Karen had a party at her house, and it was like a risque party, and the question was asked, it was a couples thing, and the questions was asked to the group, and it was like what's that game, the dating game or relationship game, I should say. That was the theme of it. I can't remember for sure, forgive me, but the question was asked, if you were married to your husband and you could get with someone else in the group, who would it be? And I remember Eddie didn't answer because of the way Wendy was looking at him like, you better not say. And I believe Chris did say Gizelle, and I also believe Karen's husband said Gizelle as well. So Candiace believes that is what Gizelle is taking to get a storyline for this season. She's like, ain't nobody wants Gizelle 50-year-old, So of course Carlos caught up at that. She was like, Gizelle is a beautiful lady. She's like, I even find Gizelle attractive, but I'm telling you right now, my husband does not want Gizelle. So that was funny to hear or to see, because as you guys know, the way Candiace put a spin on things. The way she talks, you can't help but laugh. She is funny. She is funny with the clapbacks and stuff like that. So another thing that we all wanted to know about is, if you remember in season 5, which is the reason why she didn't come back to the show, we remember Monique and Candiace getting into it at the winery, where there was, it got bad. It got bad where, if you saw the season, then you remember what it was all about. And it got to the point where it got into the courts and stuff like that. I don't think it went anywhere. I think cases were dropped and stuff like that. So Carlos asked her, he's like, where are you with Monique at this point? Do you think that you could ever forgive Monique for what happened between the two of you? And Candiace said that, yes, I've forgiven her for my sake. I've forgiven her, because I can't hold on to stuff like that, because it's gonna, eat me up. As they say, you hold on to anger, it really affects your health and stuff, and the way you behave in life and stuff. So she's like, I've forgiven her because I needed to do it for me. But she says that Monique keeps bringing it up, keep talking about it, and that's not cool. And in the same breath, Carlos did ask her, do you think you could ever be friends with Monique? And she answered that part of it. She's like, no, I don't see where that is possible. If the person keeps talking about it and bringing it up, how are you supposed to get over it, and be friendly with a person like that when they just won't let it go? And she answered him and told him that, yes, I've forgiven her in that sense for my peace of mind, but as for being friends with her ever again, that will never ever happen. So that was interesting to hear, and you can't blame her. You need time to get over something like that. That was really, we've never seen anything like that in reality TV. Of course, we see where we had Portia and Kenya go at it on the boat on one of them seasons, but it wasn't so bad. This involved breaking glass. We had Monique trying to find Candiace wherever she was. We had production pulling her away all to a whole other room and all that. So it was a pretty, not interesting, but it was really a bad blow up. And the fact that they haven't really had a chance to talk about it. I mean, it took it to the point where Candiace took it to the courts and she was filing documents and stuff like that. We saw all of that play out on the show. And her and Monique, I don't think will ever be at a place like that again. As we all know, Monique is now on Love and Marriage DC on the OWN network, working with Carlos King at Kingdom Reign. So she is on another reality TV show. But her and Candiace will never be in a good place. I don't think so. And you can't blame Candiace for that. You cannot. I mean, yes, the mouth, her and her mouth and her clapbacks are quick. But that's part of being on the reality TV show. You have to be in your little arguments and stuff, whatever. And you have to defend yourself. So they took it to a whole nother level with that. And that's what Candiace says about Monique, that she could never be friends with her again. So the interview was pretty long. She talked about other things and it was really interesting. All the way interesting. Carlos talked to her about her music career. She also let him know that she has other things going on. We all know that she's been in a couple of films and stuff like that. She told us about the way she ended up on the show, that she manifested it. She prayed about it. She talked to her husband about it. She studied the other ladies, of course, the greats from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She said she remembered that she did an interview with one person, an initial interview, and she felt it was pretty dry when she got off the phone. So what she did, she sent an email to that person and gave them some more information about her. And then she had another phone call or another interview with someone else. She told us that she studied Nene and know that Nene had a glass of wine before one of her interviews. So instead of wine, she likes, I think it's called Honey Jack or Jack Daniel's Honey or something like that. So that's her drink of choice, and she sipped on that and stuff like that. So she manifested being on the show. He asked how did they find her, And she said she did ask that to one of the producers, and they say they found her on Instagram and stuff like that. So it was a really, really good interview. You know how sometimes when you have to pull the questions out of the guests? No, Carlos didn't have to do that. The interview was flowing really well, and he let Candiace know that she is one of his favorite people on reality TV. So that interview between Carlos and Candiace, and I listened to every interview that he has on his podcast, and that was one of the best interviews that we've had so far. So yes, so that was the interview between Carlos and Candiace. She let us know a couple of things that are coming up, and we're looking forward to seeing them on the Real Housewives of Potomac. If you don't already know, that's one of my absolute favorite reality shows. I tell you guys, I love Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and on the OWN network, it's Love and Marriage Huntsville, Bell Collective, and Love and Marriage DC for me. So guys, I thank you for listening to this. If you're listening to this on my podcast, be sure to download and share the podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, leave a comment if you wish. And until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.